Hello, you all, and welcome to Center Stage, the official podcast that takes you behind the curtain of the most ambitious new musicals on the stage. What if I said the name Frank Sinatra? What exactly does that name mean to you? Well, for some, the name conjures up images such as smoke-filled rooms, a fedora tilted just so, and a voice that defined an era. But how do you take a life as huge, as complex, and as scrutinized as the chairman of the boards and shrink it down to 2.5 hours on a stage? Well, stay with us, because the lights are dimming, the orchestra, it's tuning, and the short story of how Frank began is about to begin. Sinatra the Musical is a biographical jukebox musical written by Tony-winning playwright and lyricist Joe DiPietro. Now, based on the life and music of one of the most popular entertainers of the 20th century, aka chairman of the board, Mr. Frank Sinatra, the musical tells the story of Frank's life and career, focusing on the tumultuous period of his early career, his rise to fame, and his dramatic fall and subsequent comeback. It proves that Frank was the original king of the New Year, New Me comeback, except he actually pulled it off. Frank Sinatra's life was a true American saga of towering success, crushing failure, and spectacular comebacks. But his story is one of the 20th century's most defining narratives. Born December 12th of 1915 in a tenement in Hoboken, New Jersey, to both Italian immigrants, his father Marty was a boxer and fireman, and his mother Dolly was a formidable figure involved in local politics. Inspired by Bing Crosby, a young skinny Frank found his calling. Though he never learned to read music, fun fact, he was obsessed with singing and actually learned by ear, developing his signature breath control by mimicking Tommy Dorsey's trombone playing. Now, after singing in local clubs and winning a spot with a group called the Hoboken Four on Major Bowes, Sinatra got his first big break in 1939 with bandleader Harry James, recording his first hit, All or Nothing at All, and then with the more famous Tommy Dorsey Orchestra in 1940. Well, in 1942, Sinatra went solo. A very risky move at the time, but he instantly became America's first modern teen idol. His sensitive, emotional delivery resonated deeply with young women, particularly during World War II. Fans nicknamed the Bobby Soxers mobbed his performances at the Paramount Theater in New York, initiating Sinatra Mania. In 1939, he married his first wife, Nancy Barbado, his childhood sweetheart. Well, they had 3 children, Nancy Jr., Frank Jr., and Tina, with Nancy providing the stability and home life that Frank would later struggle to maintain. Well, by the late 1940s and early 1950s, Sinatra's career began to slide. His voice was strained, the public was tired of the Bobby Soxer image, and his personal life was in turmoil. He lost his Columbia Records contract, his film contract with MGM, and was largely considered washed up. Well, this fall was inextricably linked to his affair and subsequent marriage to tempestuous movie star Ava Gardner. Their highly public, volatile relationship was a constant source of scandal, heartbreak, and emotional devastation for both of them, and it ultimately ended his marriage to Nancy. However, in a legendary comeback move, Sinatra fought aggressively for the role of Angelo Maggio in the 1953 film From Here to Eternity. He won the role, a moment famously fictionalized in The Godfather, and delivered a stunning performance, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His acting revival was immediately followed by a new record deal with Capitol Records, where he reinvented his sound with sophisticated arrangements by Nelson Riddle, creating some of the most legendary albums. One could say Frank emerged as the mature, jazz-inflected singer known as Old Blue Eyes. Well, in the 1960s, Sinatra dominated Las Vegas and Hollywood with his group of friends, known as the Rat Pack, which included Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop. Also during this time, he established his own record label, Reprise Records, asserting complete artistic and business control over his entire career, earning him the nickname, the Chairman of the Board. In 1969, he recorded his signature-defining anthem, My Way, solidifying his image as the uncompromising, successful man who lived life strictly on his own terms. Unfortunately, Sinatra would die on May 14th of 1998 at the age of 82, leaving behind a massive catalog of work and a reputation as one of the most important, controversial, and influential figures in 20th century entertainment. The creative process behind bringing Frank Sinatra's life to the stage in Sinatra the Musical involved navigating the weight of his legacy, dealing with complex estate involvement, and translating a very full real-life story into a compelling theatrical narrative. Now, the musical developed by Universal Music Group Theatrical in association with Frank Sinatra Enterprises and his daughter Tina relies heavily on the use of Sinatra's vast catalog of music. The project brought together an accomplished creative team, including two-time Tony-winning writer Joe DiPietro, three-time Tony-winning choreographer Kathleen Marshall, and music supervision and orchestrations by Gareth Valentine, Larry Blank, and John Clayton. Now, bringing the life of an icon as complex and well-documented as Frank Sinatra to the stage presented several unique challenges. Sinatra had hundreds of songs. The team definitely had to select a concise number, around 26 in the initial run, that could genuinely punctuate the narrative rather than feeling like a mere concert showcase. The challenge was then ensuring the songs breathe and move the plot forward, avoiding the cramming in that can often plague musicals of this caliber. Sinatra's life was full of highs and lows, career changes, and famous relationships. Elements like his alleged links to the mafia, issues of race, and his darker traits were reportedly touched upon in what felt like throwaway moments, which suggested a mere missed opportunity to fully flesh out his complex character, a balance likely difficult to strike under the scrutiny of the estate. Then finding an actor who could embody this unique presence, charisma, and vocal style of Frank Sinatra, not just sing his songs, well, that was an enormous challenge, as Sinatra's talent and cocksure attitude are part of what defined his entire story. The involvement of the Sinatra family and the estate, particularly his daughter Tina, is crucial and central to the production's promise to deliver a new perspective. Frank Sinatra Enterprises and Tina Sinatra are directly involved as producers. This level of involvement is key because they control three highly valuable things: the rights to his music catalog, his likeness, and his life story. Tina Sinatra has stated her excitement for the stage production, noting that she believed it will bring audiences new perspectives and insights into my father's renowned music and his enduring legacy. The family's involvement while ensuring access to the music and archive material also created a challenge for the creative team to deliver a production that was both a truthful biography and one that was approved by the heirs. Well, Frank Sinatra's life had highly publicized controversies, and a recurring issue with unauthorized adaptations is that they tend to dwell on the negative and ugly moments. The official musical aimed to be a sanctioned presentation of his story. Well, the primary meaning for the family and estate in creating this official musical is to solidify and shape their father's enduring legacy on their own terms, ensuring that the next generation sees a balanced, authorized, and deeply insightful portrayal of Old Blue Eyes. Well, the musical had its world premiere in September of 2023 at the Birmingham Repertory Theatre, where it had a limited run of just 40 performances, starring Tony Award-winning actor Matt Doyle, musical theater actress best known for her portrayal of pop icon Gloria Estefan, Miss Anna Villafane, and Australian musical theater actress Phoebe Panaratos. Now, the world premiere was a highly anticipated event, significant because it was the first official fully endorsed stage production about Frank's life, which also coincided with the 70th anniversary of Sinatra's original 1953 UK tour. Now, the production featured approximately 26 songs from Sinatra's iconic catalog, performed by an onstage orchestra of 17 musicians. Not only did the live 17-piece orchestra and arrangements of the classic songs receive universal praise, but the lead actors, especially Matt Doyle as Frank, were highly commended for their charisma and vocals. Phoebe Paneredos and Anna Villafane were also noted for bringing strength and complexity to the women in his life. Now, although the first act was often cited as feeling overlong, attempting to pack too much of Sinatra's epic early life into a tight narrative, critics felt the book struggled to fully flesh out Sinatra's complex and often contradictory character, with his darker traits and controversies, like alleged mafia links, often being touched upon but not fully explored or reconciled. In short, though, the Birmingham premiere showcased a handsome, musically superb, and beautifully performed show, but did confirm that the book needed refinement to truly do justice to the legendary complexity of Frank Sinatra's life story. Well, in November of 2024, following the Birmingham run, the musical had an invitation-only reading at the Apollo Theater in New York City. This one-off reading was a critical step in the show's journey, and it provided a clear picture of where Sinatra the musical sits today and its trajectory toward a future Broadway run. The primary goal here was to bring the show, which was freshly refined after the UK world premiere, in front of the key decision-makers, theater owners, and potential producers who could greenlight a Broadway transfer. So, where does the show itself sit today? Well, the show has moved past both the initial workshop phase and the regional world premiere phase. The Apollo reading not only served as the final major test of the revised script and performance style, but the reading was about securing the final significant investment and locking in a future Broadway theater. Universal Music Group Theatrical and Frank Sinatra Enterprises are actively steering the project, along with the original creative team, led by Tony winners DiPietro and Marshall, who remain fully committed, as does the lead actor Matt Doyle, who has expressed his dedication to the future of the role. Now, probably the one question on everyone's minds, will it ever run on Broadway? The answer is yes. The clear intention and momentum suggest a Broadway run is highly probable. Frank Sinatra's daughter, Tina Sinatra, who is deeply involved as a producer, has explicitly stated that the Broadway is where I believe he should be. And that's where we're working toward. She indicated in May 2024 that the production was aiming for an opening certainly no later than fall of 2025, but could be sooner. The only significant remaining hurdle is real estate. Securing one of the limited large-scale Broadway theaters for a long-term engagement often involves waiting for a current show to close. However, the team here at Center Stage can confirm to you all that the production is reportedly in talks with one of the most renowned theaters on Broadway, and while official dates are not yet announced, the show is positioned for a likely opening in a 2026-27 season. Now, in all, what does this production mean for current and future biomusicals? Well, Sinatra is a key example of the modern authorized bio-jukebox musical, and its success or failure will have a tangible impact. As we've already discussed in past videos, estate involvement in a production reinforces the standard that official biomusicals require that the family controls the narrative, ensuring that the story is told from their perspective. When it comes to the music portion, the power of major music companies like the Universal Music Group Theatrical are actually able to leverage their massive music catalogs into guaranteed box office draws, which sometimes provides a richer, more diverse score than the contemporary jukebox shows. And it can also attract a different, older, and wealthier Broadway audience. Now, like Neil Diamond's A Beautiful Noise and MJ, the focus remains on the comeback story and the man behind the myth. Sinatra is trying to find a better balance than some predecessors, driven by a strong, character-focused book writer. This class of show has proven to be a box office lifeline for Broadway, appealing to tourists and fans who want a combined, familiar concert biography kind of experience. In short, though, Sinatra the Musical is a crucial high-stakes project for Broadway. It aims to capitalize on the success of other authorized biomusicals while maintaining a high level of artistic integrity, driven by the family's mission to present the definitive authorized story of Frank Sinatra. And folks, that brings us to the end of our little journey behind the scenes of Sinatra the Musical. From the early workshops in New York to the development challenges of Birmingham, we've watched a legend's life being reborn for a new generation. What this musical has always been about, at its heart, is honesty. It was the promise made by Tina Sinatra to her own family and to her father's fans that this wouldn't be a sanitized biography, but a recognition of his genius alongside his demons. As Joe DiPietro told us, you can't do Sinatra without the darkness. It's what made the light so bright. Well, the creation of this show has set a new benchmark for authorized biomusicals. It proved that the commitment to a massive live 17-piece orchestra elevates the art form far beyond just a simple concert. It proved that a legendary life can be translated to the stage, provided the voice of the character, the flawed, magnificent humanity, is authentic. As the lights come up and the applause fades, we are left with the music, the story, and the unmistakable realization that Frank Sinatra's music is not just history, it is alive. And in today's world, it's singing louder than ever. Thank you all for joining us today on Center Stage. Please, please, please take a moment to like and subscribe. And do me a favor, if you're new to Sinatra, take a few moments and listen to one of his songs. And I mean truly listen. Because that man, Frank Sinatra, was the man who truly did it all his way.